What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton, cycling, and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video I thought I would do a week of Power Zone workouts. So I am home in Pennsylvania, so I've been riding the Peloton pretty much every day. And last week I did like a bunch of fun artist series rides, but right before that I did take my FTP test. So my Power Zone zones are very, very updated, very current, very ready to make me work hard. This is my last week in Pennsylvania, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of do something a little more challenging this week and, you know, make use of that FTP test that I really suffered through. So I thought I'd take a couple different class types within Power Zone in case if you're like wondering the difference between them and give my opinions. It is actually Tuesday morning. I took a rest day yesterday, so we're starting the week a little late, but this is going to be a full week of Power Zone classes, and I thought I'd just start out today with probably my favorite Power Zone class type, which is just a 60-minute regular Power Zone ride by Matt Wilpers. I'm going to do the one from June 11th, 2022, but he comes out with a lot of these. I just really like 60-minute rides in general. Like, I like not switching between rides, even though I typically do like 230s or 320s. It's nice to just pick one ride. That's all I'm going to do today. An hour is the perfect amount. And I feel like with 60-minute Power Zone training, like, we're going to get into it. We have the time. We're going to do some tough pushes, but there's also going to be a lot of time for recovery. Just normal Power Zone classes, I believe, go between zones 1 through 6. You never get to zone 7, which is your hardest zone. And yeah, they're usually like slightly longer pushes, so maybe like 3 to 4 minute intervals. And then there'll usually be like recovery between like zone 1 and zone 2 every like 10 to 15-ish minutes. But I don't know the exact layout for this class today. I think now you can see it on the app, but I like to be a little surprised, you know, keep me going. I love Matt's personality. I think he's very goofy and his music choices are always questionable. So that is what's on the agenda today. Afterwards, I'm going to do a 5-minute cool down ride by Alldis from May 3rd, 2022, and a 5-minute post ride stretch by Hannah Corbin from July 24th, 2022. And that will be the workout today. So let's go get on the bike and get right on into this Power Zone ride. I ended up really enjoying that ride. I'm not really surprised because I pretty much enjoy every 60-minute Power Zone ride Matt puts out, but I just feel like he structures the sets really well, and he also tells you what you're doing like right at the beginning, which I appreciate. I don't like surprises. I want to know like the entire workout from minute 1, and Matt is always like that, which I really appreciate. So we had a long warm-up, which we always do. It was 12 minutes, and he always structures warm-ups the same. It's usually broken into 3 songs. The first song is just like pedal out. The second song is spin up, so high cadence. And then the third song, we like go through all the zones up into like whatever zone we're going to work on that day. So today we had zone 6 as our highest zone. So we did like a minute at zone 2, I think a minute at zone 3, and then like 30 seconds at zone 4, 5, and 6, just so you can kind of feel it out, especially if you don't have the power zones for you, like you're on a different bike, just to kind of like benchmark where you are that day and like feel what the zones feel like. Then we got into the main set, and the main set we just did like one set twice, and the set was first 6 minutes, zone 2 for 90 seconds, zone 6 for 30 seconds, repeat that 3 times, then 3 minutes at zone 1, then the exact same set again, except instead of zone 2, you're going zone 3. So zone 3 for 90 seconds, zone 6 for 30 seconds, repeat 3 times. And then another 3-minute zone 1 break. And then finally, zone 4 for 90 seconds, zone 6 for 30 seconds, repeat twice, and then a 3-minute break. And then we did that entirely again. I will say I thought the zone 2 and zone 6 was like fairly easy. And then obviously like it gets harder as it builds and then you repeat it again. The biggest thing that I struggled with was actually coming down from zone 6 and getting back into your appropriate zone, especially when it was zone 4. I was like very much all over the place. It was like hard for me to kind of lock back into zone 4. But I think that was like the whole point of the workout. And then besides that, like with the 3-minute zone 1 recoveries, I definitely felt like each time we kind of started a new interval set, I felt prepared, I felt good, I felt ready to like tackle it, and it was definitely manageable in my opinion. It definitely still pushed you hard, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm so dying, like I don't feel like I can do this. I always felt like I had energy to like keep pushing myself, which I really, really enjoyed. I had a great time. Matt was also like talking about how people had written into him and like told them like what they were training for. People are training for like cool stuff like biking around Hawaii or like all of these like half marathons and marathons. And it's cool because I feel like it highlights like how tight knit the Power Zone community is and like how active Matt is in it too, which I think is cool. The music was okay. You know, Matt's doing his best. It's all like write-ins. Like he doesn't care about the music at all. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just kind of there. Like when I take a ride from Matt, I'm not taking it for music. I'm taking it for like his amazing set making capabilities. And this one was a great one. I would highly recommend. And I liked it because I felt like it was a little bit different. Usually with the 60-minute rides, I feel like we kind of tackle some longer intervals, but I liked like the 30-second zone 6 burst, really pushed myself. My zone 6 starts at 248 output, which is quite high for me. So I was really, really grinding out the 30-second zone 6 intervals, but it was nice. It was only 30 seconds and I could do it. So very proud of myself today. I'm excited to kind of get back into Power Zone training this week. I haven't done it for a while. I definitely forgot how much I enjoy it. So I'm very excited for the rest of the week now. And then the cool down I've done before, and I think I've reviewed this one before, just typical bend cool down, no complaints, love it. The stretch was, you know, good, I guess. I do like Hannah Marie Corbin, so it was like nice to see her because I don't take a ton of classes with her. But yeah, I just feel like all the stretches are kind of just stretches, but they're good for me to do. So that is it for today, and I'm excited to continue tomorrow. It is now the next day. It's Wednesday, and I'm ready for my next Power Zone class. And today I thought I had a little more time. I would do a 90-minute Power Zone endurance ride. These are the longest rides that are offered on Peloton, and pretty much only Matt Wilpers makes them. There's one that's by Christine Duracol, but I'm very loyal to Matt, so I will be taking his. I'm going to be taking his from July 23rd, 2022. So it did just come out, and the idea of these endurance rides, there are like shorter than 90 minutes. I just like want to do the longer one, is that you just alternate between zones 2 and 3. So it's not really like super hard. Like zone 3 is not a push for me, but it's mostly about just getting your mileage up. I think typically I do around 26 to 27 miles in a 90-minute ride, which is longer than if I was doing like 60 minutes of intense classes. So it's way more chill. There are very long intervals, and a lot of the time I'll actually like prop up my iPad and like watch YouTube while also doing the class, just because 90 minutes is like a long time to stay entertained, especially when the intervals aren't hard, so I can like watch TV, do something else. I am gonna like listen in on the class and like follow along with the zones, but definitely kind of a more chill workout, even though it's longer. I feel like less intense, but you definitely still need to like put effort in, because, you know, those last 30 minutes, at least for me, like really make the difference. If you don't know, I did a race last year called the Donut Derby. That was 36 miles where you're also eating donuts, and it's an outdoor bike race. And I'm going to do that again this year, and it's in September. So I need to start like getting my mileage up on the bike again, make sure I can like actually do the 36 miles. So we won't be doing 36 miles today, but we're going to be doing some more, and I feel like it'll be a fun class. Matt also like crowdsources all of his music for his 90-minute rides, so the music should kind of be all over the place, but Matt always brings his, you know, charming and fun personality, and I haven't done a 90-minute ride in a very long time. I don't even know if I've done one this year yet, so this will, you know, definitely be an experience. And then after that ride, I'm going to do my 5-minute cooldown ride with Alldis from May 3rd, 2022. That's my new default cooldown ride. And then I'll be doing a 5-minute post-ride stretch with Bradley Rose from April 17th, 2022. So that is the agenda today. So let's just get right on into this workout. I really enjoyed that ride, but I don't think I've ever taken a 90-minute endurance ride that I haven't enjoyed. We started off with a super long warm up because we have 90 minutes, so there's no rush. 15-minute warm up. At first, we were just pedaling out. Then we did 9 spin ups, which was 2 songs. Like, it takes a while to go through 9 spin ups. And then we did a last song of 2 minutes in zone 2, 2 minutes in zone 3. So you could like feel out what the vibe of the ride was. And then we got into the bulk of the ride, which was just the same set over and over again. He told us at the beginning, I like it, no surprises. We were doing 9 minutes of zone 3 and then 4 minutes in zone 2. And you just kept repeating that. And at that point, I went on my iPad. I was like kind of listening to Matt. He kind of just rambles on. Like, it's not bad to listen to him. It's just so like monotonous that I find it like more interesting to just watch TV and watch stuff on the side while taking the class. The music is like fine. It's not great, but it's not bad. I just think that like I can multitask in these situations. And yeah, I just completely grinded it out. I did just under 29 miles and my heart rate was in zone 2 like 80% of the time, which shows that this was not an intense ride, but it's definitely a long ride. It's not something I would want to do every day, but every once in a while, it just feels really good to kind of just grind it out. And Matt was in a great mood as always. He always brings a ton of water to this ride, electrolytes. I always drink liquid IV during like all my rides. So I felt fine with just 1 bottle of liquid IV. Matt also eats a banana at the 60-minute mark. I feel like if I was trying to go between like zones 3 and 4, I might need a banana, but for this, it's like pretty chill for me, even with just my new zones now. Like zone 2 is supposed to be a conversational pace, so that's a pretty good recovery pace. The 9-minute pushes at zone 3 were definitely like hard, but they weren't like intense or challenging. Like you just kind of had to grind it out. And I would recommend if you're looking into getting into like longer distance and cycling, I think that this is a great way to start. There's also like 60-minute and 75-minute endurance rides, so it's really easy to build up to it. But yeah, every once in a while, good ride, had a lot of fun, and it felt good with my new zones. I also PR'd, which makes sense because my new zones are like the highest I've ever been. So just by being in those zones, I just naturally PR'd. So definitely 2 thumbs up to that ride. Highly recommend. And then my cooldown was fine and the stretch was, average. Felt good after a long ride. And now I feel slightly more prepared for the donut derby, although that's 36 miles. But, I did 30 today with my cooldown, so pretty proud of myself for that. It is now the next day. It's Thursday, and during this week, I definitely wanted to take a Power Zone ride by Sam Yo. He's the newest Power Zone instructor, and it's kind of weird because he only dropped 5 classes so far, even though his classes came out on June 29th. I think all of them did. And he hasn't done any since then. So it's been like a month. And then the 5 classes that he did drop, it's like the FTP test, an endurance ride, and like a beginner ride. And I don't want to take any of those. I took the FTP test with him and I liked it. So the only class that I'm really interested in taking is a 45-minute Power Zone Max ride by Sam Yo from June 29th, 2022. I am worried. Power Zone Max rides are no joke. I usually don't take them. If I didn't really want to take like a Sam Yo Power Zone ride, I probably wouldn't take them. And 45 minutes is also quite long for a Power Zone Max ride. The idea of these rides is you go up to zone 7, so you'll be in zone 7, which is like your hardest zone. I think my zone 7 starts at like 300 output, which is absolutely crazy for me. You'll be in it for only like 15 to 30 seconds. It's very, very short, but it's really intense for that short amount of time. So I'm interested to see like how Sam Yo is as a coach. I did really enjoy him for his FTP test and I enjoy his normal rides. So I'm excited to see what he's like in Power Zone training and I think it'll be cool. I vibe with his music choices usually and I really enjoy his personality. And since this ride, I anticipate being very, very hard because Power Zone Max classes are very, very hard. I'm just going to do this ride and then go straight into the 5-minute cooldown ride by Ben Alldis from May 3rd, 2022. You know the drill by now. And then I'm going to do a 5-minute post-ride stretch by Hannah Frankson from April 14th, 2022. So a little bit of a shorter ride today, but definitely very intense. I feel like we're really doing a 180 from yesterday. That was like long ride, but less intensity. Today is shorter ride, but way more intense. So let's go get on the bike and yeah, just, tackle this Power Zone Max ride and hope I don't die. That ride was absolutely brutal, but also amazing. You can tell how much thought Sam Yo put into that ride. So we started off and had a pretty long warm-up, pretty typical Power Zone warm-up. We cycled out, we did some spin-ups, we did the zones we were going in for the day, although we didn't do zone 7, we only went up to zone 6, and we did do zone 7 at the end of the ride. So that was kind of interesting, but I feel like it's because zone 7 is just like literally go as hard as you possibly can. So then we started the main ride, and first it was 8 minutes in zone 4, which was already brutal because zone 4 is like not the hardest, but for 8 minutes to sustain that, like I was really working at it. And then we had 4 minutes of zone 1 recovery. That's the one thing I will say. The pushes were really, really hard, but we always got a lot of recovery. So like I felt like I had time to recover, just the pushes were brutal. So after our 4-minute recovery, we did 4 minutes at zone 5. This is also brutal. It was significantly shorter than the 8 minutes we just did, so that felt good. But like zone 5 is also really hard. Then we had another 4 minutes of zone 1 recovery. Then we did 2 minutes at zone 6. That was absolutely brutal. Zone 6 is very hard. 2 minutes is still a sustained push. I did a lot of out of the saddle work just to keep my output up. Typically, I would try to do out of the saddle like right at the beginning to set the zone and like get into it and then come back down and then only come out like when I was absolutely dying. But honestly, for zone 6, that was like at least half the interval I was out of the saddle. And then we had another 4 minutes of zone 1 recovery. And then we did 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off, zone 7, zone 1 recovery. And yeah, those were really, really brutal. After the first 3, we had a 45-second recovery. And then we did the last 4, but it's like zone 7 is literally go as hard as you possibly can. So if you didn't think those are hard, you weren't going hard enough. And I just really like the way he structured the ride, and you could tell that he put a ton of thought into the music as well. We always had the Commodores to recover to, which I thought that was cool, like the same band to like signal recovery. And then he built up like the intensity of the music as we went through the zones. So at the beginning, we were listening to like rock, and then we went to alternative rock, and then we finished with EDM, which is like great. I love cycling to EDM, really heavy beat to just like grind out those zone 7s. Sam was in a great mood. I just really loved everything about the class besides probably the pushes. It was definitely a very hard ride. I think I was in zone 4 for my heart rate for like 40% of the ride, which is quite high. My Strive score was higher than the 90-minute endurance ride I did yesterday. So again, a very different type of ride, but I do think that you can appreciate both for different reasons, and I think they're both like valuable to take and learn from. And yeah, I just really like Power Zone training because it's so personalized to you. Like someone with completely different zones than me would definitely still think this ride was hard. So I think that that's like really the beauty of Power Zone. I really want Sam to come out with more Power Zone classes. I don't really know what's happening there, but I think that he's a really, really great addition to the Power Zone team. And honestly, he's probably, I don't know, my favorite after Matt. Do I like him more than Ben? I haven't taken a Ben Power Zone ride in a while, so maybe I'll have to take one later this week and see, but he's definitely up there in my favorite Power Zone instructors. It is now Friday morning, and you know how I feel about Fridays. I love them. The weekend is nearby, but we got one more workout and one more day of work before we're there. So today, since I've already done the 3 different types of Power Zone training, there's the endurance, the max, and the regular, I'm just going to try some different instructors. So I have taken Power Zone classes with Ben Alldis before, but not that many. So I kind of want to retake him and see if I like him more than Sam, because I really enjoyed Sam yesterday. So unfortunately, Ben does not come out with a lot of Power Zone training classes, which is kind of sad. I think his last class came out in May, which is interesting. I feel like Ben is kind of like overcommitted, like he teaches a bunch of different classes. so he just can't get around to it, but I don't know. And he doesn't teach any 60-minute power zone ride classes, which are my favorite. So, we got to make some compromises. So today I'm going to be doing a 45-minute power zone pop ride by Ben Alldis from April 19th, 2022. And the music is really good. I really like pop music and I liked all the songs that he chose. So I expect it to be a really good music ride. And I feel like before Ben was added, when it was just Olivia, Matt, Dennis, and Christine, somebody that played pop music was kind of missing. I guess Christine plays like some pop music, but she also plays other music too. So I like that Ben is adding some pop music to the Power Zone pack, but I am sad that it's only 45 minutes. So after that, I'm going to tack on another 15-minute pop ride, non-Power Zone by Ben Alldis from February 17th, 2022, just to get my full hour in. And then I'll be doing the 5-minute cooldown ride, also by Ben Alldis from May 3rd, 2022, the same one I've been doing all week. It's really a Ben-filled day. And then a 5-minute post-ride stretch with Kendall Toole from April 6th, 2022. So that is what is on the agenda today. I'm excited to do some more Power Zone training. I'm excited to listen to some pop music. Should be fun. Let's get on the bike and do this workout. That ride was harder than I thought it would be. I think just because coming off the max ride, I was like, oh, it's going to be way easier. And honestly, it didn't feel that way, but my heart rate did reflect that it wasn't working as hard. But essentially we did 11-minute warm up, very basic Power Zone warm up. You know the drill. We cycled out, then we did spin ups, and then we hit 1 minute in zone 3, 1 minute in zone 4, and 1 minute in zone 5. Then we went into the set, which was 3 blocks of 9 minutes, and they were the same each time. It was 2 minutes of zone 3, 1 minute of zone 5, and you repeated that 3 times in each block. And then you got 3 minutes of zone 1 recovery in between the blocks. And honestly, that was no joke. I did feel like I was getting recovery in zone 3, but obviously not a lot. Like zone 3, you're still cycling, you're still pushing through it. And then the zone 5 1-minute intervals were obviously hard, especially on the last one where you hadn't had recovery for 8 minutes. And then obviously the zone 1 recoveries were good and it felt like I could do it again, but they were definitely hard pushes and it felt very hard to me in the moment. But then at the end, when I was looking at my heart rate, it was really interesting because I was in zone 3 for 40% of the time. And that was my biggest chunk of work was in zone 3 compared to yesterday where the max ride, the biggest chunk was in zone 4. So although it felt hard, obviously I wasn't working as hard. And I don't know why. I just feel like it felt really hard. But I did it. I'm proud of myself. It was a good workout. I feel like I didn't like the music as much as I thought I would. I did know a lot of it. I just felt like it wasn't as upbeat as I wanted. But Ben was in a great mood. It's a shame that he doesn't make more Power Zone classes. I don't know what's happening there. I do think that I enjoyed Sam Yo's ride yesterday more just because Sam put so much effort into organizing the ride and really focusing on the music. And I just felt like it was a really, really good ride. In Ben's defense though, these were Sam's introductory to Power Zone rides, so obviously he wants them to be good so people will keep taking him, and this was just a random ride by Ben. But based on those 2 rides, I definitely did enjoy Sam's ride yesterday. The other thing when I was on the bike today is I realized I definitely need to take a break day tomorrow or not do Power Zone training. Doing 4 days of Power Zone training is hard and my body is tired. So this is actually going to be my last workout of this video. I'm not sure what I'll do tomorrow, if it'll just be an easier day. But originally I planned to either do another max ride tomorrow or just another regular Power Zone ride. And I don't think that I can do it. Today I was really grinding it out. So, I'm proud of myself for doing 4. And I feel like I showed you kind of the different ranges of Power Zone rides. And it reminded me that I do really, really enjoy them. They're just also really hard because they're very personalized to you. There's really no slacking. I feel like the zone 1 recoveries sound really long and in the moment they do feel long to recover, but then you're like right back to like grinding very hard. So although you get a lot of recovery, which I like, it's like still a very hard ride. So that will be all for this video. Let me know who your favorite Power Zone instructors are and what your favorite Power Zone rides are. Definitely Power Zone Max rides still scare me a lot. But I think that Matt Wilpers is still my favorite Power Zone instructor. Although if Samuel keeps coming out with Power Zone rides and they're as good as his first ones, he might be able to overtake Matt. We'll see. If Samuel ever comes out with a 90-minute endurance ride, I'd be very interested to take it. Those are definitely my favorite, but basically only Matt comes out with them. So he just forever has to stay my favorite. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!